Tonight on KREM 2 News, Spokane City Council decided to put $100,000 toward relief for families affected by immigration enforcement. Hear from those for and against that plan.
Rain turns to snow in low elevations. We'll talk where it sticks and how much piles up tonight.
Plus, thousands of Americans in Mexico are being told to shelter in place after a drug cartel leader was killed over the weekend. Hear from a woman from Washington about what it's like there now and what's next. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the night report on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. It was a busy night for Spokane City Council members, from giving $100,000 to immigrant families to hearing about the ban of KREM. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy catches us up on what was discussed.
The first hot-button issue during Monday night's Spokane City Council meeting was allocating $100,000 to the Spokane Immigrant Rights Coalition, also known as CIRC's, Community Justice Fund. The money will assist families who may have a member detained by immigration enforcement that can go towards housing, healthcare, or transportation, something supported by council member Zach Sapone.
I'm glad that we can find some funds to try to pay to help what's happening to people in our community to right a wrong.
Council voted in favor of the funding in a 6-1 vote, with council member Michael Cathcart voting against it, saying more should have been done to decide where the money is going.
I would like to see a program that has real sidebars, that has real accountability, that is truly the product of a process that is meaningful and not hand-selected.
Council members also had a first reading on an ordinance to ban kratom, as well as an immigration enforcement-free zone. This aims to stop federal agents from using city property such as parking lots for surveillance or staging without a warrant. Several agenda items were deferred to next week's meeting, including a change in the day council holds their meetings from Monday to Wednesday. A proposed amendment from council members Kitty Klitsky and Zach Sapone would also change how the public can comment during meetings. If passed, the comment portion of the meeting would be a single block at the meeting. Each would get 5 minutes to speak on any issues on the agenda, rather than 3 minutes per item, as it is currently. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Now, earlier today in a committee meeting, Spokane council members learned more about an emergency ordinance that would block private properties from being used as immigration detention facilities. Current city rules allow someone to apply for special permission to build a detention facility in certain zones, like an apartment or commercial area. This ordinance would not allow that. The ordinance says detention facilities conflict with the city's goals of building more housing and attracting businesses. Some council members raised concerns with the ordinance in committee discussion this afternoon.
Controlling and telling other people what they can do with their own private property is really a challenge. You know, it's all about fair market, small business, how that could impact them.
We have received a legal memo on this that affirms our right as a city to move forward with this regulation.
Now, if the ordinance makes it to a vote and is passed, it would take effect immediately. It would be in place for 1 year with the option of making it permanent later on. 4 U.S. cities, including Tacoma and Los Angeles, already have similar rules in place. All right, let's turn our attention to the forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo in our Outdoor Weather Center. Tracking the chance for some snow tonight, Jeremy.
Sydney, it's looking okay when it comes to that chance of snow. Let's talk it, because things are interesting. We are dry and sitting in the mid-30s right now, slightly above freezing with the dew point right above it. That plays a huge role in what winds up happening. Most of our moisture, though, coming down to the south. A lot of that activity south of Interstate 90 right now. You run into rain west of 195. East of it, it is all snow and likely stays that way. There is that chance overnight that it lifts up into Spokane. Most of that stays I-90 and south. Downtown looks to be right on the edge and likely stays rain in this event. Moves out, and by tomorrow morning, we're waking up to a little light coating. A lot more in parts of North Idaho than we're going to see in Spokane. Wednesday looks much drier, and it's a big turnaround toward a warmer, breezier second half of the week. 41 degrees tomorrow as snow turns to rain, and then it looks like it's rain in the afternoon. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sun, and 44 degrees. And by Thursday, breezy winds kick us all the way up to 47. Sydney?
Jeremy, thank you. Less than a year after state lawmakers passed a budget increasing taxes and cutting state services, they're now facing another massive deficit. Drew Mickelson with our sister station in Seattle has a look at the new proposals for this latest budget gap.
Democrats blame the Trump administration and a slowing economy. Republicans say it's just bad planning and overspending. Whatever the cause, lawmakers are having to find ways to balance the budget again. They've got about a $2 billion deficit in the current budget passed last spring. On the table, reducing spending on child care, the transition to kindergarten program, and in higher education. There are no new tax proposals, but Democrats are counting on that income tax on millionaires starting in 2029. The latest House and Senate proposals also call for tapping into the state's rainy day fund, the emergency savings account. Democratic budget writers say a loss in federal assistance and a slower than expected economy have them looking at cuts that will impact families.
We are a society that is still experiencing wild income and wealth inequality, and cost of living is high. And we are passing important programs at the state of Washington to directly meet those needs of our constituents, and surprise, they're getting utilized.
Our state has always had a bit of sensitivity to sort of boom and bust cycles because of our revenue structure. The millionaire's tax would be a significant step towards smoothing that out.
Well, it takes about 50% of the state's rainy day fund and uses that to bridge the gap of this current budget. And then it hopes and it prays that the economy will get a little better, or perhaps that the income tax will come in and save the day in the future years.
Senator Gildon called that Senate budget proposal a big gamble. The proposed income tax on millionaires has its first hearing in the House tomorrow morning. Hundreds have signed up to testify. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
It is time for your Night Beat with a quick look at today's top stories. The Panhandle Health District put out an advisory this morning warning against the use of KREM, saying it's addictive and has a high risk for overdose. Has a risk for overdose. One woman in the health district says the announcement is unfair and KREM has helped her deal with her ADD.
There are people that have had a lot of life change with KREM that have been in constant pain or dealing with other things like that. And KREM has really helped them, but unfortunately it's kind of getting swept in the same category as 7-OH, and there needs to be a clear line and distinction between the two.
Now, Spokane is considering a ban on the sale and distribution of KREM in the city. Meanwhile, Idaho lawmakers are looking at a bill aiming to crack down on synthetic KREM. Well, police told us a person was stabbed and killed yesterday on North Division near the Apple Tree, nearby the Apple Tree Inn. And today we asked hotel staff about that. They told us the stabbing actually took place inside the inn. The investigation remains ongoing tonight. We'll certainly keep you updated as we learn more. And the suspect in a deadly hit and run over the weekend is expected to appear in court tomorrow. One person was killed Saturday in that Spokane Valley hit and run. Authorities identified the suspect's truck. He was pulled over without incident. The 35-year-old man was arrested and charged with vehicular homicide. We'll keep you updated on that case too. That's it for your Night Beat. For more on any of these stories, head to our website, KREM.com. Tomorrow morning, the Spokane County Medical Examiner will give an overview of 2025 overdose data to county commissioners. Some of the main points that Dr. Veena Singh is expected to discuss are the fact that the overdose deaths are leveling off, though they are still quite high. Fentanyl overdoses are trending down. Meth overdoses are on the rise. The medical examiner says a majority of deadly cases involved multiple substances, often a combination of opioids and stimulants. We have lots more ahead tonight here on the Night Report, including the latest on some Washington residents who are hunkering down in Mexico as violence flares up after the killing of one of the country's biggest drug kingpins. We'll tell you about that story. Plus, coming up in 11 minutes, we'll show you the triumphant return for the U.S. men's hockey team after they won gold in the Olympics. You won't want to miss that. We'll be right back.